Shalom, shalom.
How are you doing?
Spaghetti. Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Makakurash. I'm going to give double honors to apostles, elders, the great millstone. And shalom to the sincere Akim teaching out there in truth and sincerity. Shalom. So I wanted to get into a topic about, I had like this dream. I can't remember it vividly, but I know there was a lot of death. There was a lot of death happening in the dream. And I know it's got to be a vision, just on that part, because the Most High only allowed me to remember only like that part. But that day is coming. That day is coming. And I just wanted to say that a lot of people don't take this seriously. They don't take this seriously. They think it's like some kind of book club that we do. We just read the scriptures and say it out loud, and people hear it, and they're like, "Oh, I know that book," and like they want to get all in it, And a lot of Jakes don't take this seriously at all. They like when shit happens to them, excuse my language, when stuff happens to them, and then you talk about keep your faith, keep yourself in check and stuff like that. If they are in the truth, and here they go, you can see it in their spirit. They're like, "Oh, come on, not this again," or "Oh, come on, let's deal with reality here." It's stuff like that. People don't take this seriously. They think that the scriptures is nothing but a fiction, a fiction. Like as if nothing in the scriptures happened. Oh man, I don't know, man. It annoys me when stuff like that happens. People just think this is type of a book club where they can just talk about it and then just leave or anything like that. Yeah, that shows that they didn't have faith in the first place. But that dream I had, I woke up with like a twisted stomach. I can't remember everything from it. All I know is that there was a lot of death. I don't got no scriptures lined up. I let this Wakakurash, flow through. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them, and shake the hand. Actually, let me just jump down a bit. Let's see. A noise of a multitude in the mountains, as if a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven. Even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It is come as a destruction from the Almighty. That's a warning. That is a warning. And that is not something you should be taking lightly. Because this is prophecy. The one that's giving out this warning is the prophets. Nobody ever takes them seriously. Because like I said in camp, we're what you call, we're what this world calls a average Jake, or an average Joe, having to go to work, having to pay bills, having to pay for food. You're in the same state as us. What gives you the power to judge us? Or we're in the same state as you. So what gives you the right to yell at us and stuff like that, We got the Spirit. You don't. Simple as that. Something more, way more. What's the word? What's the word? Way more. Way more precious. Way more precious than the fine treasures that you find in this world. You know? Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. That's talking about fear. People are going, oh my gosh, they don't want to take us seriously when that day comes. Oh, is this? Yo, that fear is gonna hit them 2 times more, maybe even 3 times. You know, because they weren't expecting it. But the men of the Lord's been warning them, and they don't want to listen. It's stupid. It's stupid. This is why the Most High calls our people Sodom's children. To continue. And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take a hold of them, and they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed on one another. Their faces shall be as flames. They're going to be terrified. They're going to be nervous. Especially these Edomites, man. These E's, you know, because, you know, their faces, when they get nervous, their whole face turns hot. I mean, so does everyone else's, but their face literally gets all, you know, red and super hot. But this is twofold, because their faces are literally going to be flames. And if our people want to, you know, befriend these Edomites and not go to the Lord, their faces are going to be as flames too. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, with wrath and fierce anger, to delay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Our people think this is some kind of fiction. Like, oh, I can see that. But they can't see it happening in their lifetime. Is what they're saying in the back of their head, or I can see that, but yo, that can no way be real. And they're literally saying that not out of an exaggeration. Our people, man. Our people in you know, some people I know don't take this seriously. This is something that literally is a choice of life or death. And that death is going to be brutal. Because the more sins you committed, the worse sins you committed, the worse you're going to die. The more brutal way you're going to die. Just think of that. Think of the most horrific way that you can die. Because that just thinking that, it's already a possibility in how you can die. You probably just had a vision of how you can die. You know. Seriously. I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. There's another scripture. Let's see, not sure if this is here in the Bible. This is Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons and daughters in this place. He's telling us he's basically telling us it's not a good idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not a good idea, because you don't know when the day of the Lord's coming. You don't know unless you're a watchman. And if you're a watchman, you know, you just take that warning into consideration, because none of us know if we're part of the elect. And Lord willing, the men that teach in truth and sincerity, you know, are part of the elect. Lord willing. Yeah, I'll wrap this up. To continue. For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning the mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begot them in this land, especially the 2/3. And you know, this is warning is out for the Israelites anyways. But you know, the heathens are most definitely gonna have, you know, children here. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented. They shall not be lamented. Slakia. Neither shall they be buried. But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword, and by famine, and by carcass. And their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth. It says, you know, in Apocrypha that it says in Apocrypha that fire was it. I'm roughly paraphrasing. It's like if I screwed up. It says fire, famine, and pestilence, and teeth of beasts were all created for the day of vengeance. You know, and that's what's gonna happen. Both great and small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bold for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning. Tear, select it, and comfort for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their fathers or for their mother. What else? I remember. I'm trying to remember one. Let's go to Apocrypha real quick. Get some of Second Ezra. I think it was 13th chapter. This is Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamt a dream by the night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. That's talking about the Lord's chariots. The Lord's chariots. And that sea, that sea is space. That sea is space. As you look up in the sky, it looks like an ocean up there, especially. You know. To continue. And I beheld, and lo, he had a graven himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or the place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So that chariot was like an Independence Day 2. They keep getting those things from the scriptures. The Lord cometh with fire. You know, coming with the clouds. You know, Independence Day 1, and you got Independence Day 2. Couldn't see where it was graven. It literally stretched across the whole earth. The whole earth could see it. Even if you're on like the other side of the earth, you can see it on like the side of the sky. You know. To continue. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So they were forced to fight. The Lord put the spirit on them, just like He put the spirit on Pharaoh to chase Israel, into the waters. And lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, or nor held a sword, or any instrument of war. Now imagine that. A big chariot in the sky. Massive chariot. Everybody's afraid. Except the men of the Lord. Lo willing, the part of the elect. Well, in that day, the men of the Lord are most definitely going to be the part of the elect. The ones that are sincere. And they won't be afraid. Well, they will be afraid. But then again, they'll be joyous. And lo willing, I will be joyous. And my brothers, my father, and everyone else that has faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and fears Him, will be part of the elect and be joyous in that day. And fearful of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So basically, imagine a giant, big chariot. You can't see the ends of it. Especially, it's going to be above America, that's for sure. Or somewhere else, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to be. It tells you in the scriptures. But to continue, imagine a giant chariot in the sky and it's just sitting there. Where you see, you look up and you see, like in the movies, you see jets just whoosh, right past your head. And you got helicopters, you got tanks rolling up. Like Superman when they're aiming at Superman. Like that. It looked like it was just doing nothing. And then it says this. But I only saw that went out of his mouth, which is the bottom of the chariot, as if it was been a blast of fire. Out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together. Now imagine that. All of them mixed together. A blast of fire, a flaming breath, and a great tempest. Imagine them all mixed together. What is that? That is a laser beam. That is a massive laser beam. You already know tempests are huge. You know sparks are loud. And you know flaming breaths are bright. Or flames are bright. And you see that tempests are a funnel. So it goes down. And it's huge. Sparks, bright and loud. And flames, very hot and can kill. And so did everything else there. And fell with violence upon the multitude that were prepared to fight, and buried them, every one that was sudden, that were upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude. Nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. See, even Ezra was afraid when he saw this. That would be a terrifying sight, seeing all the armies. All that armies. As the Most High says, those who trust in Egypt, will fall with Egypt. Roughly paraphrasing. So, let me continue. Afterward, I saw men come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. This is what's talking about the Israelites, specifically the 1/3. That was the peaceable multitude. And there came people unto him, whereof some were glad, and some were sorry, and some were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then I was sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, but that goes into another subject. See, some were glad, some were joyous. They were joyous in that day. They didn't have much family to lose, or they didn't have much family, that they loved. Some were sorry. They couldn't. Some of the Israelites couldn't save their family. Or a brother, a friend, anything like that. And some were bound. Some were just terrified with fear. Just shaking. Bound. Couldn't move. They were frozen. Ross, see, trying to remember another scripture. I had it in my head a few moments ago. Oh. It's Revelation chapter 9, verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. See, the Most High, he has a reward for every man according to his work shall be. So if the Most High doesn't want you to die there, you're not gonna die there. He's just gonna reserve you for that blast from the chariot, or from the weapons of the Lord's indignation, which is those ICBM missiles, which would most likely have the same outcome as the chariot blasting down. You know. Well, with that, I hope this was edifying. You know, and boost the fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Lord willing. You know, because you know that dream that had a lot of death. Just waking up, I had a twisted stomach. That many death, man. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. You know, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Makakuras, Shalom.